Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. As you guys see by the title, we're going to be talking about some wide receivers today. We're going to be obviously talking about Justin Jefferson and the impact that the Stefon Diggs contract extension will have on him and his future contract extension. And then also, I think the Vikings could be looking at drafting a wide receiver, but definitely not in round one. And I think I found a guy round two, early round three, possibly trade up for him, Jahan Dotson. He's from Penn State. I'm going to be giving you guys everything you need to know about Jahan Dotson. And Justin Jefferson's about to make a lot of money. A lot of money. He might be getting quarterback money. That's what we're talking about in this video. Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. Let's get into it right now. All right, starting off with Jahan Dotson, the receiver that I would actually like the Vikings to draft. And the reason I was going through this process of finding a receiver that they could take in the second to third round is because I really think they will be looking to take a receiver, obviously, in the second, third, or fourth round. Obviously, Vikings don't have a second round pick, but they can move some picks around. But anyways, Jahan Dotson, he's a receiver from Penn State. He's 22 years old. He just finished up his senior year, and he finished with an 87.5 grade on the entire season. Now, just some overall quick hitters about Jahan Dotson. He's not like this flashy speed guy where you're gonna see him. I mean, listen, he's 5'11", 195 pounds. He's not this like burner speed guy, but he is such a beautiful route runner. And the funny thing is, who he reminds me a lot of is Stefon Diggs coming out of college. Like that slender build, but he still plays with this physical nature. And the number one thing about him, no drop passes, none at all. And I think, you know, when we're kind of evaluating wide receivers as fans, I think obviously if we see a guy like DK Metcalf and we see him, we're like, all right, he's got to work in the NFL. Or we see a guy like Tyreek Hill, his speed, we're like, he's got to work in the NFL. There have been so many cases where I feel like GMs in the NFL just draft wide receivers because of size or speed. And I don't think they value what Jahan does really well, and that's run routes. He runs routes very similar to Stefon Diggs. I mean, it's really similar to those two. I'll throw highlights of Jahan up on the screen right now. I'll go split screen. But pretty much with him, as you're going to see in this video, he has a ton of tight window catches. If you go watch his highlight tape, he's not making like these, in college football, you see a lot of these receivers just get over the safety and become wide open, and then they have 75 yards and a touchdown just because either off scheme or talent. Jahan, when I was watching his highlights, he had to work for a lot of these yards. And a lot of these catches you're seeing on the screen, they're tight window. They're a slant over the middle. They're when he knows he could be taking a hit, but he has this toughness and he has this machismo to him. He's not flashy at all. He's not going to have some crazy juke move that's going to, make SportsCenter top 10. But he's going to run the right route. He's going to not drop the ball. And that's why I think he's perfect for the Vikings. We have Jefferson and Thielen and KJ and obviously guys like Emir Smith-Marset. But if we could get a guy who can come on there on a third down, be almost like this slot Cole Beasley type of receiver, I think that's him. And I think Jahan could be a sleeper in this year's draft. And also, looking down the line, I know I feel like we're always talking about just next year, especially when we're talking about podcasting. And, it's tough to go big picture. But if you're looking at the Vikings receiving group, and I'll segue into my next topic with this, Justin Jefferson's going to get a ton of money. Adam Thielen's set to make around $20 million next year. He could potentially be cut. And I don't want to be in a situation where we're like the Packers and we have Devontae Adams and nobody else after, Thielen leaves, after Jordy Nelson leaves. I don't want to be in a situation like that. So I think if they could go trade up to round 2 to get this guy, maybe go round 3 if he's on the board, he goes sneaky. But Jahan Dotson, he's my number one receiver I feel like the Vikings should be taking in this year's upcoming NFL draft. All right, we got to talk about Jefferson because he's going to make so much money, and he deserves every single cent, but just the fan out of me is just like, it's going to be a lot. So Stefon Diggs, he just signed a 4-year, $104 million extension, and I think people are just kind of looking at this and just like, oh yeah, another big contract in the sports world. Listen, this is not the NBA. These contracts don't get thrown around like the 4-year, $100 million. It's like it's nothing. But for receivers now, they're starting to act like they're nothing. They're just being thrown around. And, Jefferson, if he's coming off his rookie deal, I'm thinking he's going to want $30 million a year. And I'm thinking he's going to want to be paid like a quarterback, which he deserves every cent. It's becoming a wide receiver league. I just think the Vikings, it's going to be tough. You know, when you have this superstar guy, you can't be paying the quarterback what you're paying him. So I'm just saying, keep an eye out on Jefferson's contract, because, you know, we could just start coming up with numbers in my head. And if it's the end of next season and he has another great year and doesn't get hurt, I'm okay with giving him whatever he wants, because he needs to be a guy that stays, because Jefferson is realistically becoming the face of the franchise. He is who the Vikings want to have representing them as their face, as their guy, as their man. I mean, I was thinking he'll probably get 5 years, $140 million. And I'm not even saying that, like I think that could be undervaluing him. He could get 5 years, $150 million. I that would not shock me. I would, if the Vikings are going to do a contract extension, try to sign him for a while. I would try to get a 5-6 year deal done where you can keep him here, and then you give him all the money he wants. But then when you have these long year deals, you can move money around, just like how the Chiefs do with Mahomes. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the Vikings wide receiving, I guess, group. Could we be adding Jahan Dotson, and how would you feel about that? Let me know down below. And I need guesses. What do you guys think Jefferson's contract will be? See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.